Good morning, everybody, and happy Cinco de Mayo! So, in honor of Cinco de Mayo, today we're going to learn Spanish instead of math. I'm just kidding, we're still doing math. But before we get started, make sure, like always, you got something to write with and something to write on. So hopefully you have all that by now. Let's get going. So, we're going to go over a little which one doesn't belong, continuing our work with yesterday with volume. So keep that in mind as you go through this. So one of these pictures does not belong, okay? I want you to pause the video, really think about which one doesn't belong and why. Come up with a reason, okay? So go ahead, pause your video, and figure out which one. Okay, so I'm going to go through the possibilities that you could have picked for which one didn't belong. Maybe you picked that A doesn't belong because it only has one layer. Maybe you said, because right, like A, there's only one flat, it's flat, right? One layer. All the other ones have layers. Maybe you said B because it's a perfect cube, right? If we look at its dimensions, let me get my pen back out. It's a 4 by 4 by 4. No other shape here has those dimensions, has the same dimension for everything. Okay, that's why they call us a perfect cube, because all three sides, all three dimensions are equal. Okay, maybe you picked C because it's the only one that's length is different than its width. This is an 8 by 4, right? So it's more of a rectangle. This is an 8 by 8. We already talked about that's a 4 by 4 in terms of the base. And this is a 3 by 3. So this is the only one where that base is a rectangle. You can't say that it's the one with 2 layers because this one has 2 layers. You can't say it's the one with a green layer because that's got a green layer. Orange layer, well, that's got an orange layer. So really the only way you could have done this one is said, oh, it's more of a rectangle, and these are all the bases here are squares. Okay? So we could have gone with C, base is a rectangle. Now D, I'm assuming some of us picked D because the volume is different. The volume of this shape is 18. It's a 3 by 3 by 2. So there's 9 blocks in the first layer and there's 2 layers, so 9, 18. 8 by 8, well that's 64. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64, right? There's 16 cubes in one layer, multiply that by 4. And here there's 32 cubes in one layer, multiply that by 2, that's also 64. So the volume of all three of these is 64, but the volume of this of D is 18. Okay? So think about that. Do you have any questions? Because we are going to do more work with these things. But what I want to do now is teach you a new game, which is Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Okay, so this game is real simple to learn, guys, and that's why I'm doing it with you. All it is you play with somebody else, right? Obviously, that's how these games work. If you look over here, here's the record sheet. Okay, it says numbers I spun, number I chose, volume, equation. Okay, so we're using that volume equation to help us with this board. You're going to spin the wheel twice. So I got a 4, big money, big money, big money, and a 5. So I got a 4 and a 5. And then I myself choose a number, right? So if I choose 3, let's just say, okay? My volume, so my equation for my volume would be 4 by 5 man, I'm messing up with my pen today, by 3, which would be 60, okay? And so I would get this space. And this is my board. So now your partner needs their own board as well. And there's a few different ways we can go about doing this, and we'll talk about those at the end of the lesson. But then once you go, your partner goes through the same thing, and then back it's your turn. I spun a 5, and I spun a 5 again. I got a 5. I got a 5. And I'm going to pick 5 because 5, 5, 5. Why not? So my equation is 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. So then I would get this one. And then my partner would go, and you go back and forth like that, okay? The goal is to get 5 in a row. You can go up and down, across, or diagonal. So kind of like a bingo setup, all right? But the whole goal is for you to beat someone and say that they are not smarter than a fifth grader, right? So if that's someone at home, Mr. Rupart, a friend, whatever, you want to beat them, right? That's the goal. So today's activity you're going to play, are you smarter than a fifth grader, with someone. You can FaceTime a friend or a family member. You can FaceTime someone at home. You can come to office hours with me, and I'd be more than glad to play with you. I'm not sure if I'm smarter than a fifth grader, but maybe we'll find out. So today what you're going to do is, instead of answering a discussion post about the game, what I want you to do is you're going to take a picture of your record sheet and your board and post it on Schoology, okay? And I want you to tell who'd you play with, okay? How did it go? All right, I want to hear how this stuff's going. I want to see it. So my normal office hours today are from 1 to 2, okay? Because I'm thinking some people may need someone to play with, or you may not be able to get the stuff you need for this game, okay? I'm extending office hours for Miss Silicato's homeroom. I will also be available from 12 to 12:30. It's the same office hour link, okay? And then my homeroom from 2:45 to 3:15 I'll extend office hours just for you guys as well. So again, it's going to be the same link, okay? Let's real quick talk about what you need for this game. Okay, you need the board, you need the record sheet, you need a spinner. Now, the board and the record sheet I have put on Schoology. I also put a challenge version up. So if you're like, you know what, these numbers are kind of weak, I really want to test someone out at home, see if I really can beat somebody. So I'm going to use the challenge board, okay? Now, the spinner is something you may struggle with. I put an online spinner in the Schoology group, okay? So if you're able to use that, then fantastic. There's a few other things you can do for a spinner. What I would like you to do is I want to direct you to, there's a document in Schoology as well called Directions for Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? At the bottom, it gives you some ideas, like if you can't print out the board, if you don't have a spinner. Okay, if you don't have someone to play with, some things that you can do. All right, I want you to be successful with this. So I'm trying to help you out as much as you can. Please remember, if you have any questions, come to office hours. If you need to play, if you're like, this is a lot of stuff, I just want to play with Mr. Rupar, I will have everything you need. Please don't think you're going to need your own stuff when you come to office hours. I'll have it all. But it would be fun for you to play against someone at home, see if you can beat them, I think, and give you some bragging rights, right? But that is all I have for today, y'all. So I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the game. I cannot wait to see your posts on who beat who'd you play with. Remember, take that picture, upload it, and Feliz Cinco de Mayo. Ellas quieren, no quiero yo. Ay, cuánto me gusta el sushi y las hojas de laurel. Usted que mira más lejos será mi amorcito.